Blue Moves was Elton John's 11th studio album, coming out in 1976, following Rock of the Westies and preceding A Single Man. It reached number 3 in the UK charts and the United States charts. It was his second double album and follows on from Goodbye Yellow Brick Road in that mode. It provides us with 84 minutes of music. All Music gave it 3 out of 5 stars. And for me, this is one of my favourite Elton John albums. In this video, I'm just going to be looking at disc 1 so far. The attractive cover art was provided by British artist Patrick Proctor and shows people relaxing in a blue mood on a summer's day in a park. For me, this still captures that sort of 1970s feel to Elton's music and Elton's band. The tracks feel almost as if they were performed live by the group rather than recorded in parts. And there's quite a change coming up when we come out with A Single Man after this. But this is still a golden era for Elton's music and how it fits together. As usual, I'm going to be marking each track out of 10, finding an average mark for the whole of the disc, and then we'll compare that with my mark in a separate video for the second disc. So let's get underway. The first track on the album is an instrumental called Your Star to 4, perhaps a pun on the University Challenge quiz show when there was a question which was your starter for 10, and of course it opens the album. This one wasn't written by Elton, it was written by Caleb Quay. It's a very brief track, just 1.5 minutes of it, and it will probably make a good television theme, except we could do a bit more of it. There's not enough of it on the album to give us a real flavour of it. I'd have liked to hear 3 or 4 minutes of this. And again, it's another one of his quality instrumentals, which put together with other ones from other albums could make a really good collection. It would be useful as a TV theme, I think, at some stage. Maybe not remarkable, but I'm going to give this one 4 out of 10, so it's a reasonable start to the album. Track 2 on the album is Tonight. What can we say about this track other than its pure class? Fantastic orchestral arrangement by James Newton Howard of the London Symphony Orchestra performing at Abbey Road. It starts with 3 or 4 minutes of beautiful orchestral music with a really quality and impressive piano lead from Elton in a minor key, and it leads into a kind of morning vocal which looks at a couple at the crossroads in their relationship, perhaps losing touch and trying to rescue their relationship, which is kind of on the cusp of fading out. It's sumptuous, it's moving, it's powerful. Fantastic cover version, of course, by George Michael. And it's the sort of classy 1970s track that Elton was turning out at the time. It's just quality, this one. What more can you say about it other than to give it 8 out of 10? Remember, these marks are just for fun, but 8 on my scale is very good indeed. 9 would be excellent, 10 absolute perfection. Track number 3 is One Horse Town. A really interesting track, this one, and I've been listening to this a lot since I started doing these reviews. This is a story about somebody living in a backwater in the United States. And the lyric is really strong from Bernie Taupin here. 1/2 mile of Alabama mudbed ground. A really interesting start to this one, very quiet to begin with, then the guitars come in really fast. There's a sort of creepy rising strings at the end as well. We've got an orchestral accompaniment which is conducted by Paul Buckmaster, the legendary Paul Buckmaster. And Ray Cooper is in great form on the vibe and tubular bells. You have to wait 2 minutes for the vocal to come in, but when it does, really exciting melody written by Elton. And I just want to give you a flavour of something really unusual in the verse here, because Elton manages a scale of 10 notes in the verse going upwards. I'll show you what I mean. My only criticism of this track is the different speeds of the chorus and the verse. I prefer the same speed throughout a song. I'm not sure that really helps with it, but this would be a fantastic track live. I've linked below a performance Elton gives of this. It's quite difficult for him to sing because the refrain is so highly pitched, and that's common throughout the album actually on quite a few tracks. And it's a difficult time as well for when he recorded this because he was struggling with his voice, so you do feel sorry for him. But you can imagine that the theatre and drama of this track would work really well. So I'm going to give this one a very solid 7 out of 10 for One Horse Town. Track 4 and the final track on the first side of Blue Moves is Chameleon. This is a love song, somebody encountering somebody they feel very strongly about. Another good lyric from Bernie Taupin. Imagine my surprise to see you very much alive in the English rain again. Some quality backing vocals going on here. 7 backing singers, including Tony Tennille from Captain and Tennille. It's a pleasant setting. Again, it goes very high, and this maybe means that it's not performed very often live, which is a shame because it's a good arrangement and it is a very solid melody and harmony. So this one, Chameleon, after a very strong couple of songs, this one perhaps not quite as strong as those other ones, so we're going to award this one 5 out of 10 for this one. Just summarise that first side then. We've got a 4, 8, 7 and 5. And although you only get 4 songs on side 1, I would say that's a pretty good offering of music there. Let's move on now to side 2. Side 2 opens with Boogie Pilgrim. Elton in sort of funky mood in this track that might make you want to get up and dance. What's it about? It's about the pleasure of dancing, perhaps. There's a very strong horn section in the background here. There's a Baptist choir brought in. And the rather strange refrain has Elton in kind of Bee Gees mode, seen extremely high up, probably meaning that this could never be done in recent times, certainly as a live performance. I wouldn't say the tune or the setting or recording is one of Elton's greatest, although there is a kind of party feel on here. And you can imagine this working well live in the 1970s. Look out for a very good guitar solo in the middle of this, although maybe could have been slightly better. I don't know, see what you think about that one. We're going to give this one 5 out of 10 for Boogie Pilgrim. Well, things improved with track number 6, which is Cage the Songbird. This is Bernie Taupin's tribute to the classic French singer Edith Piaf, the Little Sparrow. There's a sense in which Edith Piaf's life was as an exploited singer, and she struggled to cope with fame. Echoes here, perhaps, of Candle in the Wind. It's a very pleasant track to listen to and a very well-written melody. There's no piano on this one, unusual for Elton, but there are some enjoyable backing vocals to listen to from Crosby and Nash, and some pretty nifty acoustic guitar work as well. A good feel to the whole thing, and again, it's one of those songs that you'd really like to hear Elton sing again if he did a tour of less well-known songs. We're going to give this one 7 out of 10. Track number 7 is Crazy Water. This was the second UK single issued from this album, and it made the UK top 30, although it wasn't released in the US. Some interesting lyrics here from Bernie Taupin. Apparently this is about somebody worrying about a dangerous life at sea for the person they love. Down by the docks I saw the masts unfolding is one line from it. Shoreline widows pray for the souls of missing whalers. So a great rhythm to this one. Really good sumptuous chord structure in this one as well. Elton was really writing some exciting songs at this time, and really inventive and unusual, and I really like the feel of this track. hardly anybody knows it now. Unless you're a dedicated Elton John fan, you may not even be aware of this track. I really enjoy it. I think it's a really good one, and I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 for Crazy Water. Side 2 of the first disc then ends with the song Shoulder Holster, which is kind of a rewrite of the Frankie and Johnny story. Crosby and Nash appearing on this again as backing vocalists. There's a strong horn section to this one, a fantastic sax solo in it, and it's kind of a revenge story, one of those sort of story songs that Elton actually does really well, and we could do with more of those. There's sort of a country feel to this as well, and you can imagine it sitting quite well on Tumbleweed Connection, which of course we know is a great album. There's only room left on there for great songs. I enjoy this, not a classic, but it's got a good feel to it, and it's evidence of a really strong band, really strong production at that time, and a very individual, recognisable Elton John sound. We're going to give this one 6 out of 10. So the scores for side 2 were 5, 7, 8 and 6, giving that a 26 total compared with the first side of 24. I'd be interested in your comments on which songs you think are the strongest, or which ones you don't like quite so much. So for the first record in the Blue Moves double album, it gets an average of 6.25 per track. Now, just to give you an idea, that compares with the Fox 5.6, Jump Up 4.5, and Too Low for Zero 4.7, making it the best record so far that I've reviewed. Now let's look at the running order of the tracks reviewed so far. So after 4 records reviewed, there's quite a few tracks coming out with 8 marks, the most I've awarded so far. From this album, Tonight and Crazy Water are the standout tracks for me. So they're up at the top with Legal Boys, I'm Still Standing, some really good quality tracks there. Now, down at the bottom of the chart, we've still got Heart in the Right Place and I Am Your Robot, scoring only 1 out of 10. But as you see, not much from Blue Moves at the bottom of the league there. Your Start of 4 gets 4, but that's still a pretty good track, actually. So it tells you what a quality album Blue Moves is. Not everybody's view, of course, but I think it's a pretty good collection. So thanks for listening. Send your comments in if you've got any, and please keep an eye out for more Elton John album reviews, including my review of the second of these records, which will be coming very soon.